Be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need to see Breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an anchor. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. POAPs on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now. Shoutout Solana. Shoutout Solana. Shoutout Solana. Been in since 2020, now go check it out. Look at the roster, build a Ramada. I wanna shake all their hands, get those watch parties ready to pop off. Man, it's a nada. Looking like Tiki Masala, the way they be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need to see Breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an anchor. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. POAPs on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now. Shoutout Solana. Shoutout Solana. Shoutout Solana. Been in since 2020, now go check it out. Look at the roster, build a Ramada. I wanna shake all their hands, get those watch parties ready to pop off. Man, it's a nada. Looking like Tiki Masala, the way they be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need to see Breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an anchor. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. POAPs on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now. Shoutout Solana. Shoutout Solana. Shoutout Solana. Been in since 2020, now go check it out. Look at the roster, build a Ramada. I wanna shake all their hands, get those watch parties ready to pop off. Man, it's a nada. Looking like Tiki Masala, the way they be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need to see Breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an anchor. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. POAPs on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now.
And we are ready to go. How's it going, everybody? I will be your host for the next little while. My name is Cash Donda. We'll give people just another minute or two to join us. If you are watching on YouTube, hello, do me a little favor, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're watching over on Twitter, consider coming over to the YouTube, and at the very minimum, if you don't mind, hitting that retweet button and letting us know in the chat where you're calling in from. I know we have live watch parties all over the world, and the viewers here. What's going on, Mullen Man? How you doing? Shout out to the Mumbai folks who I know have a big meetup going on right now. We got people in Goa. We got people in Nigeria. Berlin is in the building. Romania is in the building. Turkey is in the building. It started as a wild dream to take Solana mainstream, led by Panache by our friend Cash from Super Team. My guy, Brian, the master of the RPC, or one of the masters of the RPC games, I should say. Shout out to Triton. Shout out to everybody else who is here on the call. We got Yutaro. He's in the back room, and he's still chatting over here. That's what we love to see. My guy is out here. We are going to get going here in just a little second. If you haven't come before, you got to make sure to stay until the end, folks, because the end is where all the good stuff happens. Today, we got Mert opening up the crystal ball, predicting the future of Solana. We have DRiP Mobile sneak preview with Vibhu from DRiP House. We got Orca and Yutaro here to talk about their V2, plus the best POAPs in the game, a Twitter raid, and a bunch of other good stuff. Let me take a look at the clock. Yeah, I think we have a quorum. I think we got a quorum going on right now. Let's kick it off. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome to the ecosystem call for August 2024. Dear Jesus, can't believe that. Shout out to Super Team UAE. Shout out to everybody else watching at the live watch parties or watching online. This call is brought to you by Super Team itself. I'm texting from prison pre-self, says yes. Shout out to Super Team Earn and the rest of the boys. We're going to kick this off the same way we always kick this off, with a little bit of music.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Solana ecosystem call. Tonight, DRiP House, Helius, Orca, and more. With your host, Cash Donda.
That is me. Please hold your applause. Unnecessary applause. Chase Barker, AI Chase Barker, sounded a little bit bored on that one, which was the wrong way to be because it's a very exciting call today. All my homies are here in the chat. I see my guy Soul Jakey. I see Jussie is here. I saw Asia from the Solana events team is here, and many, many others. I don't even have time to go through all my homies who are here right now. Farhaj says clappers. Folks, if you have not already figured this out, the key to this call is indeed the chat. So if you are able to jump in there, make some jokes, prepare your W's. Listen to Alex, guy. He's a smart guy. Prepare your W keys. You're going to need to smash those as we go through. But this only really works as an interactive call, right? So please do, whether you're on Twitter or on YouTube, get into the chat. That is where the good stuff happens. Dan Albert, you know I love you, brother. And also, what a badass pick. The story of Dan Albert's badassness will have to be told another day. I don't have time for it right now. We got too many W's to get into. So let's get into it. So if you're watching live, I think we have more than 1,000 people in real life. Who would have known? People on Solana like to touch grass as well. If you're watching live, scan this QR code so you can jump into the chat as well and make yourself heard and seen. People already smashing the W's, which I love to see. And if you are on Twitter, make sure that you actually do hit up that chat. So you just have to click into the live stream, and that'll allow you to actually see the chat and participate. Habibi W, Crypto Slice, my guy doing the worm all over the world. That's what we like to see. So let's talk about the agenda for today. In case you're new around here, let me make one thing clear. This is not a call about token price. This is a call about the people, the protocols that make Solana what it is as a community of builders. So we're going to start off with the wins of the month, where we'll capture the 15 biggest things that happened last month on Solana so you can get up to speed. Because maybe you noticed a lot of I have to remember not to swear on this. A lot of things happen every month, and that's what we want to cover so that you're up to date, along with the state of Solana, some big announcements and places that you're going to want to be. Then we're going to talk to Vibhu about all things mobile and DRiP. We'll talk about the future of Solana with Mert. Anyone here ever heard of Mert? He's a nice guy. People, I think, will dig him. Nice Twitter fingers. Then we're going to do a little Twitter raid, do a little act of kindness. And then finally, we'll talk to Yutaro from Orca, along with work to earn and a bunch of exclusive earning opportunities before the closing POAP. Can I get some predictions in the chat how long this call is going to go? We're supposed to go just for 1 hour. Historically, that has not really worked very well for us. So if you think it's going to be over or under, please put that into the chat and you will receive infinite cash tokens that don't exist later on afterwards. Okay. I do want to say a little shout out to all the watch parties that are out there. Super Team Mumbai. I know we have one I think we'll have one tomorrow in Auckland. Here's just some photos from last time for anyone who does not know. This is the Solana community showing up in real life to watch my stupid face, which I don't really understand. I think they're mostly here for the guests, but whether they're in Turkey, they're in India, they're all over the world. Sometimes they're small, sometimes they're big, but in all cases, it is the Salami faithful coming together. Shout out to Romania and all of the rest. I just see Mert is bald in the chat here. So a lot of good stuff happening all around the world. We appreciate everybody coming together with pizza, without pizza. If you haven't already, go to your nearest watch party. That's at Get River. Just go to ecosystemcall.com and you'll be able to find those. But anyway, you're already here. So let's kick into it. Let's get into the wins of the month. Oh, let me crack my knuckles on stream to get ready for this one here, because there are a bunch that we're going to be going through. Salami. All right, let's hit this off. First, we're going to start off with some welcome to Solana. This is where we like to be nice and roll out the welcome mat to some folks who are maybe newer to the ecosystem or some ideas that are newer here. The big one that I want to start with here, this is one of the biggest wins we've had in a minute. LibraCap is bringing institutional finance on chain so that you and anybody else around the world can get access to deals that previously were hidden only for the elites. This is the true vision of democratizing finance, tokenizing these funds, where, as you can see, typically you need $2 million to invest in a Hamilton Lane fund. Now, with as little as $10,000, which is obviously still a fair amount of money, but it's much less than $2 million, you can participate from anywhere in the world directly from your phone or browser. This is a W if I've ever seen one. I see Nick Dukoff, who's doing a bunch of good work in this direction in the chat as well. Please do drop a W for LibraCap, Hamilton Lane, and everybody else who's bringing these funds on chain. The future of RWAs on Solana is very bright, folks. I would keep an eye on this space. Win number 2. Jumbo's $99 phone is bringing emerging markets onto Solana. Jumbo's got a lot of folks excited. Very affordable phone that allows anybody in the world to start earning, to start accessing financial products, to start playing around with things like DRiP, all from their phone. And they have now integrated Solana as well. So shout out to the Jumbo team. Welcome, my friends. You're going to like it here. The water is just fine. Win number 3, Audius is actually bringing the music industry onto Solana. This one is pretty cool. Audius has been on the Solana ecosystem for a long time. Now, people maybe don't actually know just how much they're like crushing it lately. I think they have something like 3.6 million monthly active users. They're maybe not as active on Twitter, so people don't see that. But what they've done recently, I think, is pretty impressive. They have gotten all of the major U.S. performing rights organizations on board. They now have agreements, which means that artists on Audius can earn royalties when their songs get played elsewhere. And if you already have an agreement with any of these organizations, you can put your music on Audius as well. The music industry, not typically so friendly to new technologies. So this is a really cool one here. Shout out to everyone over at Audius for making this happen. And then the last welcome to Solana is Clanosaurs are bringing animation excellence on chain. Any Clano holders in the chat? You can give me a little W so that I can see. The team they went ham. That's the only way to say it. They went up to the Collision Awards, which are for animation and motion design excellence. They went head to head with Disney, and they scared the shit out of Disney. That's a fact. They were competing against Disney, Sony, Paramount, and many more. What I love most about this, Clanosaurs, top tier team with just excellent on-chain IP. Love to see on-chain IP being recognized in the real world. Hopefully more and more people are going to realize this is the place to create the next great franchise, the next great bit of IP. W's in the chat all around. And shout out to everybody who's saying hi from all over the world as well. Oh, God, so many wins. My lungs cannot take it. Next up is a section I call doing numbers. And there's a bunch of these. So we're going to have to go pretty fast through them. But some major numbers were had this past month, excuse me. Any degens in the chat? Anybody deep in the trenches along with me? Shout out to the Bando. Shout out to B and the rest of the folks over there who I've been hanging out with in the trenches. Memecoin mania has hit all-time highs. Pump.fund has now launched 1.5 million tokens, not like $1.5 million worth of tokens, 1.5 actual tokens, something like 20,000 a day are being launched on Solana right now, which is just crazy. They've also hit $2 million in 1 day's fees. Just in a single day, they're making $2 million. On-chain businesses can be really successful. Shout out to them. Shout out to Radium as well, who's doing $6 billion in volume and actually dethroned Uniswap as the top DEX in all of crypto for a little period of time. Whether you like meme coins or not, I see Mert on steroids in the chat. You got to admit something is happening here, and Solana is leading the charge. This is pretty cool to see. Real numbers, real volumes happening. And on the back of all this meme coin mania, Solana has now flipped Ethereum and its L2s in total economic value. Now, this is not a perfect stat. Total economic value is all the transaction fees plus the MEV tips. It's basically one way of thinking about how much people are willing to pay to use a chain. It is not the only metric that matters, but it is an interesting one because I, my friends, am old enough to remember way back in the day, if you look at this chart, back when Solana had very less total economic, very few transaction fees, very few MEV tips, and people were saying it would never be possible for it to compete with Ethereum or others there. And now we're at least in the same conversation. There's still a long way to go. The job's not finished, as Kobe Bryant would say, but this is a cool one to see happen. Shout out to Blockworks for this insight. Win number 7, the Blinks boys and girls have just been going absolutely mad. 300 Blinks have been built over the past 1 month, including a bunch of really cool viral successes. Baxis, shout out to Baxis, RWA, bringing whiskeys on chain. They sold their Lehman Brothers bottles of whiskey. They sold $60,000, sold out on Twitter alone. No one had to actually go to their site. So you now have commerce happening within the feed where people already are. Sendcoin did a 100,000 NFT mint using Thirdland. Shout out to Bangers. And became the top performing NFT collection across all chains, which is pretty amazing. We got prediction markets and much, much more. Shout out to the Dialect team, the homie John Wong, Sen, Thirdland, and everyone else building Blinks. Blinks are blockchain links that let you use Solana everywhere. The idea here is to bring Solana to the masses by making it easy for them to interact with it as a new kind of go-to-market for many Solana projects. I think this is super cool. Hopefully you do too. And by the way, if you do think it's cool, we have some money that we'd love to give you. If you go to earn.superteam.fund, we have an Instagrants pool. You can get up to $1,000 for building a Blink. We will get you that money. It takes 15 minutes to apply. We will get you your money within 72 hours. It's a pretty good deal. Send it higher, as Suhail is saying in the chat. And some goat emojis for John Wong. I think that is pretty great. Win number 8. It would not be an ecosystem call if I did not look you dead in your goddamn eyes and say, stake your goddamn soul. I think I can say goddamn. I don't know if I can say hammer for as much. Liquid staking tokens have crossed $4 billion in TVL. This is a pretty big deal, folks. And in particular, what's exciting is our man, Mert on steroids, has become the #1 validator on all of Solana in just a few months by using a liquid staking token, Helius Soul. Shout out to Mert. Little W in the chat. I'm not sure why Ukraine and Kamika team are spamming the chat. We see you guys. You don't need to keep telling us you're there. But what I do know is that liquid staking tokens are fantastic. So shout out to Jito, to Sanctum, to everyone who's got an LST. If you don't already know, staking your soul helps increase the decentralization of the network. Liquid staking tokens allow you to use your soul in DeFi while also helping the network push forward. So this is a great deal. Go stake your goddamn soul. What are you doing, folks? How many times do I got to tell you? Penultimate section here. Let's talk about some shipments that have come through. How am I doing on time? Oof, I'm already late. Let's keep it going. Win number 9 over here, introducing Huma, the first PayFi network. PayFi is a term you're going to hear a lot about. It turns out that a lot of finance is built around financing, basically giving money up front for various use cases. To put this in context, treasuries are about a $5 or $6 trillion industry. Trillion with T is pretty big, but credit card financing is like 15 trillion, right? What's it called? Supply trade finance. We're actually helping merchants along the way financing their supply chain. It's like 10 trillion. Those things are now coming on chain with Huma, trying to build a new frontier for RWA. Can you tell that I'm excited about RWA? I don't know. It's everywhere right now. But this is a really exciting one. Shout out to Huma. Shout out to Super Team Turkey. Shout out to Lily Lou for helping push this one forward. Win number 10, Firedancer is getting off the ground here, folks. The first Firedancer block was accepted on testnet. If you don't already know, where have you been? Drop me a little Firedancer in the chat, please, folks, if you're up to speed with what Firedancer is doing. They're creating an alternative validator client that has just ridiculously high TPS. But what's really cool about it is that it's actually just increasing the client diversity on the network. It makes Solana ultimately more kind of resilient to have more clients out there. I think that's what's really cool. This is a big step. A lot of folks are excited about Firedancer for good reason. They also have a $1 million bug bounty, so people can check that out. Shout out to the Firedancer team, Richie Patel, and the rest of the folks. Kevin, I'm going to swear, Kevin motherfucking Bowers and the rest of them. All right. And then speaking of client diversity on the validator side, shout out to Syndica, who is also building an alternative validator client called, for SIG. I think it's built in the SIG language. They just completed the accounts database portion, which is a major milestone. Right now, they are also increasing the speed. So their account reads are 3x faster. Account writes are average 2x faster than the normal Agave client. Shout out to Ahmad and the rest of the Syndica team. More options. Diversity is good for everybody in this case. Win number 12, a shipment that I'm excited about. You can now trade meme coins with Apple Pay on Moonshot, which means it has never been easier for you to lose money trading meme coins. That's not actually true. I think I'm the main person that loses money with meme coins. But what I think is cool and worth celebrating here is that with Moonshot, there's no seed phrases. There's no wallet addresses. You sign in with your goddamn face, right? This is a way of kind of improving the UX of crypto, the UI of crypto as well, such that more people can access it. And I think that's what's really important. That's what I wanted to celebrate here. It's growing the pie and making it easier for people to onboard. That is awesome. Shout out to the Moonshot team. And then finally, I see some ha-has about my losses in the meme coin trenches. Let me tell you, it's not a laughing matter how much money I lose there. Lastly, community wins. We have a few to celebrate here. The first one, 19 teams won prizes over in Bonkathon. Solana is obviously known for its global hackathons where builders all over the world come together to create new projects and win some prizes so they can fund and continue to build. Congratulations to all the prize winners. This one is super exciting because the folks over at Bonk and Radiance now did this as a community effort, right? This is not sponsored by the Solana Foundation. It's not driven by any of those teams. It's done by the community for the community, and I think that's pretty special. I will point out, by the way, that 74% of prizes were won by super team projects. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all, but maybe if you're interested in winning hackathons, you maybe want to join your local super team. I will tell you that right here. And speaking of super teams, may I officially welcome to the fold, Super Team Canada is now live as of like 10 minutes ago. Drop me a little maple syrup in the chat if you are excited about Super Team Canada in the way that I am. Super teams continue to grow. Canada has one of the strongest Solana communities in the world. That is already a fact before there was a super team. I mean, just look at all these great people in this photo who are making it happen. But it's long overdue to launch an actual super team there to help onboard more talent, help support all the great Canadian builders that are already out there. If you haven't already, drop a little hiya in the chat. Yes, please. Give them a follow over at SuperDeemCAN. Big shout out to Super Simon and Fib, who are going to be leading that effort. Super Simon in particular was the executive over at MonkeyDAO. Many people in the space know him. He's been around forever. Also, I believe, has tons of connections in Canada itself. Really excited for this launch, especially as we gear up for the global hackathon, folks. And I see Simon saying hiya in the chat as well. All right, and then the final one. I know I'm already going long here. Breakpoint hype is growing rapidly. Super Team helped produce this little video. I don't know if anyone caught this yesterday, but it is a very fun one. You should go watch it if you haven't already. Shout out to Davia, Thunmei, and Akshay. Akshay, who was supposed to be here, but unfortunately he got a little sleepy. He got too sleepy. He had to go to bed, which is kind of fair. He's in Singapore. It's like 2 a.m. He was traveling today, so all due respect to him. But Akshay and Lily are helping kind of really push forward Breakpoint this year, and there's a bunch of changes that I think are awesome. There's 3 things in particular I'm excited about. Number 1, debates. So people actually debating on the stage. There are a few topics that Akshay's not here, so I can say it if I like. There's going to be a lot of fun topics. For example, celeb coins are bad is a debate topic. There's one around not everybody should be a validator, and it's fine if it's expensive to run one, which I think is pretty interesting. And then maybe my favorite is that Western crypto has tech but no users, and Eastern crypto has users but no tech. So if you're excited to see those, definitely pick up your ticket to Breakpoint. Those are going to be a lot of fun. Second thing I'm excited about here, short 5-minute talks. This is actually kind of pioneered at the Akshay Summit, but the idea of like short, punchy talks, no more 30-minute talks that put people to sleep, all alpha, all the time. And then the third thing I'm excited about is breaking news. Was anyone here at the Super Team party last year at Breakpoint? If you were, you maybe would have seen that we did the Solana Bear Market Awards, which is basically a roast of Solana. Here's the alpha. We're doing it again from the main stage this year, or I think probably from the left curve stage, quite frankly, where we will be giving out awards and playfully roasting people all across the Solana ecosystem. So if you're excited to see that, definitely come out to Breakpoint. We've been writing it already. It's going to be pretty intense. Solana says biased, but this should be higher than 15, to be honest. That's probably true. That is probably true. So drop me a little BP in the chat if you're coming to Breakpoint, my friends. Let me see who's actually going to be there. Are we gonna have some friends and some familia over there? I think that we will. Okay, that is it for wins of the week. Let's quickly go into State of Solana, and then we will get to our special guest. Hopefully you can agree. It was a good fucking month. It was a good month for Solana in July. A lot of good stuff happening. No Zin, no Mert. Please, somebody smuggle Zin into the country. Otherwise, Mert will not come. I'm very worried about this. All right. The State of Solana, folks. Let's talk about this pretty quickly. A few things to show. Pretty good month, I gotta say. Shout out to Solana Floor for helping find some of these numbers here. TVL on Solana grew by 20% to 5.4 billion. Pretty good. But the numbers that I really like to see, non-voting transactions per day. That means like transactions of people using the network normally, up 20%, 21% month on month. True TPS, 1,100 TPS. That's a lot of people using the chain for real. I don't want to point any fingers, but that's a pretty good number. I don't know anyone else who's doing numbers like this on a regular basis. But there's two other new numbers that I wanted to shout out. The first one was the number of active wallets has gone up by 9%, now about 30 million active wallets per month. This is an imprecise measure. Wallets do not equal people. Some of them are bots, but it's good just to see more activity on the network. And then net inflows. This is one I'm really excited about. 126% up month over month. Almost $600 million was bridged into Solana. Shout out to DBridge and Wormhole Mine Finance for making that happen as well. So the numbers are looking pretty good. The W's are flowing in the chat as well. They should be. Here's a few quick announcements to make sure that you know what's going on in Solana in the coming months. First one, the Solana Radar Global Hackathon is going to kick off on September 2nd. This is the single best way. If you want to change your life and either get venture funding or get a job or just meet other cool people and explore the possibilities of Solana, Coliseum's hackathon is the place to be, folks. So you can go right now to coliseum.org/radar to sign up. I promise you won't regret it. You'll find a bunch of ideas there. You can find ideas on build.superteam.fun as well. You can find co-founders there. You can do all the good stuff so that you can earn a share of what is sure to be a giant prize pool. I can promise you that. This one is a pretty great one. I'm hoping other folks are getting into this as well. Is anyone participating in the hackathon? Maybe you can drop a little building emoji or a muscle emoji or something like that into the chat so that we know. Next up on the announcement side, in case there's places that you want to go, if you've ever wanted to go to Argentina, now is your time to do it. The first ever Solana Economic Zone is being started there. Shout out to the homies Faraj and Babak over at Forma City for making this happen. It's a month-long think tank and unconference. So there's going to be a ton of Solana builders. Already have 115 confirmed attendees. I know the Sphere Boys are going to be there. I know that the Ore Boys are going to be there, Triad, and many, many others representing 100 plus projects with all these key themes. Go to Forma.city to sign up. I think they still have a few slots left. You should definitely check this out. Argentina is a beautiful country. There's going to be a lot of other things happening there. Shout out to the Crescimento folks as well. This is going to be the kind of thing that you don't want to miss. Then, that wasn't enough for you. The Super Team Founders Villa is back in October. Rumor has it that Mert himself will be there, along with a bunch of other killer founders. I know some of the Orca team's going to be there. The Airfoil team's going to be there. And oh, I'm going to be there as well. If you've ever wanted to hear me say hello, hello, hello in person, now is your chance. October 6th through the 26th in Dubai, co-working, co-living. Shout out to Alex Scott and the Super Team UAE folks who are putting this on, villa.superteam.fun. It is the best way. If you've ever thought about moving to the Middle East, or if you've ever thought of setting up a company there, meeting local people, this is the place to be. God, there's a lot of real life stuff happening though. So maybe Dubai is not for you. Maybe it's a little bit too far. I'll be sleeping at the couch, says Mert. Well, you can, if you don't want to go to Dubai, you can go to Miami, GM to the port of Miami. And famous Victoria's Secret model Chase Barker over here flexing that long hair. Shout out to Segfault Doctor from Jito, Lil Perp from Drift, and Justin, who are helping to put this on. The Port.dev is a co-working space open in Miami just for Solana builders. So whether you're passing through or maybe you're already in the area, go here. They're going to do a ton of great programming. Big shout out to those boys. Love to see it. The Chase hair flip. And then finally, if that wasn't enough, you don't want to go to Miami. You don't want to go to Dubai. Well, how about you go to Vietnam? Breakpoint is coming up, and in the 2 weeks before it, or 3 weeks before it, we're going to do co-working and co-living in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Produced by, of course, Super Team Vietnam. Who else? Vietnam, beautiful country. Tons of great builders are going to be there. If you haven't explored Southeast Asia, this is the best way to do it. There's also going to be scholarships for up to $10,000 for people who are Vietnamese and living abroad, maybe want to come back to the homeland. vn.superteam.fund/startup-village to go check that out. All right. That's got to be, like, Chase is better than the Victoria's Secret models that I like. Seoul, Miami, somebody asking in the chat, it's theport.dev to make that happen. As you can see, good things are happening all over the goddamn world at this point. Oh, and I'm being told Solana summer camp is in Pennsylvania in 14 days as well. Man, there's no excuse to not go and get in touch with the Solana community and feel the vibes for yourself in real life. There's nothing like it, folks. All right. With that said, I think we can start. That was the wins of the month. That was the state of Solana. Hopefully it's got you feeling bullish. I'm feeling bullish. Again, token price aside, I'm just feeling bullish on where this ecosystem is going. More projects are coming on, more community building is happening all over the world. It's a good time to be a Salami person, I got to say. But with that said, let me bring up our next guest in just a second here. I will say, as a way of a little intro here, DRiP is my favorite app to onboard folks to Solana for a few reasons. Number one, it's got real value, right? If you don't know, DRiP helps connect audiences to creators all around the world and allow them to get these collectibles of different rarities, which people love to do. People have been collecting collectibles for decades, if not centuries. So it's got real value. It's got impeccable design, just excellent kind of mechanics around droplets and auctions, gamification via these leaderboards, and of course, legendary lock-in. And most importantly of all, it's got this normie friendliness that makes it easy to show to new people. It's like, hey, it's clear value, it's designed well, and it just works right out of the box, right? It's one of the most used apps on Solana, and I'm thrilled to have the co-founder here on the call to talk about how much adoption they've seen, what the roadmap's going to be, and maybe a sneak peek at DRiP Mobile. Please drop a little DRiP Maxi in the chat for our guy, Vibhu. Vibhu, how you feeling, my friend?
Good to see you. I'm well.
Well, let's dive right into it, Vibhu. So for people who don't already know, maybe we can start by giving a sense of scale. What kind of adoption have you guys seen at DRiP so far? Like, what are the metrics that really matter for you?
Okay. It's been an amazing year for us. If you notice, you'll see DRiP in the top rankings on Phantom pretty much every time you open your wallet app. In terms of kind of raw numbers since December, what I'm most proud of is that DRiP collectibles have paid creators $1.5 million using USDC and Solana. Pretty cool. That's nothing to sneeze at, because we only have around 400 creators active on the platform. So DRiP's becoming a real way for people to earn an income from their content, whether that's art or music or videos or really anything that you make can be on DRiP today. I tweeted last night. There's been 12 million donations, unique donations on the platform in the last year, which is crazy. And a lot of those are tiny. They're 1 cent or 5 cents or $1. That's the beauty of on-chain payments. They don't have to be $10 for the fees to kind of make sense, right? We're willing to pay someone in USDC, even if the increment is very small. And what else? This year we peaked around 150,000 DAUs. I should say daily active wallets. We're a little bit smaller today. That was back in March when the Solana price was rising super fast. We had this Phantom Quest going. Still every single week, more than 100,000 people log into DRiP and do something with us. Play Legendary Lock-In, collect a piece, give back. So yeah, I think it's been awesome. We're kind of living the dream that we had when we first decided to do this, and most importantly, we're about to take some huge steps. We're about to roll out mobile apps native for iOS and for Android. We've got Creator Studio, which is our tool to kind of upload and distribute and manage your DRiP creations. And what else? Last thing, if you're coming to Breakpoint, we are running back the DRiP House 2.0.
Nice.
It's all-day events at the Breakpoint venue, focused on creating on-chain and the business of collectibles. It's the only event like this, and I feel very strongly about the anti-panel thing. I think we may still have some panels. A very convenient way to get people together on the stage. But you're going to see some of your favorite creators, not just like people that make art and music on chain, but also people that tweet. I think of people that tweet as content creators as well. So
does that make you a content creator then?
Sometimes, yeah.
It's like half your job to be a content creator.
But yeah, I mean, the reality is that there's a lot of people around Solana who are not just building or trading, but they're also talking about the state, what's happening on chain, and talking about the NFTs and talking about the meme coins and all that kind of stuff. And we think they deserve a voice too, and you'll be able to see them all live at Breakpoint.
That's pretty cool. And just going back to the idea of all these donations and creators being able to connect to new audiences, this is like one of the initial promises that got me excited about crypto in the first place, right? Of like, hey, if you are a creative person right now, a lot of these Web2 platforms kind of have a monopoly on it. It's very hard to like earn a living from what you're doing, or even just to like discover your audiences if the algorithm is against you. And I think DRiP is kind of helping to mitigate that situation and build a brighter future for everybody. So if people haven't checked out DRiP, you definitely should, but talk is cheap. And I know a bunch of people, especially Aditya Shetty, who I saw in the chat and who I think has a painting of your face above his bed before he goes to bed every night. He takes a look at that, is eager.
Is this true?
To see, is eager to see DRiP Mobile. Do you think we could actually take a look and see what it looks like?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So first of all, if you have an Android phone, if you have a Saga, you can download the DRiP mobile app on your Saga phone and try it out. So there's no whitelist or restrictions. What I'm going to show today is an iPhone, because that's my platform of choice. Let me see if this works. I'm going to share my screen here. All right.
Let's see. There it goes. Let me. Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
all right.
Your screen.
Let's get in
back.
Here.
I'm honored to be your background, but that's very.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that is a little creepy, isn't it? Well,
I'm sure your wife and kids are thrilled. It's pretty good. That's a W.
Right on. All right, so here we go. We're in the app on my phone. Keep in mind you're looking at an alpha version of the app, so you're going to see some weird things here. I'm going to go into our secret mode. One of the things that we added in the last month was a tip link option. This is pretty cool if you haven't seen this before. You can log into DRiP with a Google account. So I'm going to log in. All right.
Shout out to the
law of demos. Is it going to work? There you go. Boom.
It did. Nice.
Cool. All right. So these are our my recent drops that I've received from creators. This particular account here is subscribed to many creators. I can tap to reveal a piece.
That looks smooth.
So what's really cool is the way the DRiP works is it's kind of like an off-chain to on-chain pass off. So you can see this button that says secure for 10 droplets. This actually just mints the piece directly to my wallet. So it's instantaneous. There's no wallet connect dialog. It just kind of works, right? And that goes right into my my content library. So again, this account has subscribed to a lot of creators, so I have many pieces that are going to expire soon. Apparently this expires in 12 minutes. Let's go ahead and send this. And by the way, each time I'm doing this, I'm actually donating 1 cent to the creator that made this, which I think is pretty cool. Here's the library of content that I have. We can actually filter by the type, how rare that piece is. Let's see if I have any music here. Okay. We got some music. Let's go ahead and play it. So one neat thing about this app here, you can't hear it, can you?
No, I don't think we can hear it.
It's not streaming the audio.
If you want to sing along.
So it's actually continuing to play in the background. Even if I close my phone, you'll see that it's still playing the music from DRiP, and it actually will continue to play each track that I actually own in my library. So it kind of like takes all the things that you own that are music and then creates a playlist. This is not available through Phantom because the background audio support doesn't exist out of that DApp browser. And you can see this kind of cool, you can keep it playing there. We've got all kinds of discovery features. We can dive in here and see a set of photography. In theory.
The joys of live tech demos of alpha products.
Yeah,
it does come through.
So this is Papa Bearda. He's a bird photographer and bird. What do you call those people?
Bird watchers?
Bird watcher? An
ornithologist?
Avian. Okay.
Maybe? Sure. I'm not a bird guy. Shout out to the birds. I got nothing against them. What I love about this is that he's a bird photographer with 63,000 subscribers on here because he's like able to connect with other people who are also interested in this.
It's one of my favorite little design touches. You can see this. So if you look on this little box on the second row here, you see this red dot, this green dot, yellow dot, and gray dot. That's a complete drop set. So this is a single drop where different people receive different assets. This is a one of one here, and you can actually see its result because this was auctioned. It was sold for 10,000 droplets. And I can swipe. I'm going to close this here. And you can see this little custom control at the very bottom. See how it picks up the rarity in that little slideshow format.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty cool. You can actually donate right to him through here. Let's give him $1. There you go. Cool. All right. We also, this is one of the cool features. Okay, I mean the design is still a little bit of work in progress, but we're kind of taking some risks here to like make this feel like a mobile game. Every 6 hours you can claim free, and this spinner here actually has haptic feedback. So in my hand right now, I can feel the spinner vibrating. It feels like a slot machine. And this is legendary lock-in. It's been designed like a Game Boy, and it's fully working. I can use the controls to, let's see here, move my guy around. Let's go, let's turn off the lights. Okay, let's open the chest. Let's see what we get. Rugged again by DRiP. Okay, see?
A familiar story.
How it is. I think this is cool. I think this is a fun design, and you could imagine us putting other types of game content in here, daily play. All right, let's click back. Now you can see it's not going to let me play until the next day. We've got profiles in here now. We've got a whole like way to change your featured collectibles on your profile, set your PFP. One of the things about DRiP is that you can only use assets that you actually own. So you cannot, for example, just upload any PFP to your profile. It has to be something in your wallet, which we think we're going to kind of extend into the rest of how the product works. Like the only way we're going to protect creators is if we carry that provenance from the chain all the way throughout the app. And that's a choice. That is not you can't compel someone to do that. It has to be how the product is actually designed.
As somebody, I just found out somebody is using one of my NFTs as their profile picture on Twitter and Telegram. I appreciate this very much. There's no imposter syndrome here. Listen, the mobile app looks excellent. Is there maybe like one other last quick thing that we could take a look at here?
Yeah, I was going to show auctions here. So these are mobile auctions. Again, no wallet dialog. So, oops, I'm clicking the wrong thing here. Okay. So I just participated in a bid on an auction right from my phone. No wallet connect. Let's see if I win this. So yeah, that's a bit about the mobile app. There's tons of, I mean, it's a very like, deep app right now. So a lot of things to check out, but when is this coming live? Let's stop sharing. I mean, I think we're hoping to get it out by Breakpoint at this point. I think that's if we can launch it at Breakpoint, that would be great. And if you want it sooner, just go to Twitter, type in Creative Drewy, at Creative Druid and just send him a message and say, "What the hell are you doing, man? Like, get this in my hands
Stop sleeping,
now."
Druid. Get to fucking work. I keep hearing that story, but yeah, excellent. Well, I don't know how anybody could see that. I think that what I love, so again, I mentioned in the beginning, what I think is so great about DRiP is like this clarity of product vision, this idea of opinionated design that kind of makes things feel both premium, easy to use, and get people to act in the right ways, which is great. But Vibhu, we are indeed over time, so we won't have a chance to look at the Creator Studio. But if you are interested in getting onto DRiP, I do encourage you to check out their Twitter feed. There's a bunch more there. Are you guys accepting new creators right now?
Yeah, 5 per day.
5 per day.
On
So
board.
I saw some people in the chat. Go on there and make it happen. All right, Vibhu, thank you so much for coming out. Keep up the great stuff over at DRiP, my friend.
Thank you, Cash.
Appreciate you, brother. All right, let's keep on going here. Before we get to Mr. Mert himself, quick programming note. We're giving out another Breakpoint ticket. Vibhu's going to be there. He's going to be doing a big DRiP day. People are going to want to see that. Last month, we gave it over to Crypto Rich, who joined the Solana OG's Cord Telegram group and said why he wanted to come. If you want to join us at Breakpoint, you can scan this QR code, come to the Solana OG's Telegram group. And if you don't have the link, somebody you know probably will. There's a channel that says Breakpoint ticket giveaway. Just tell us why you want to come, and you will also get a free ticket very soon. Okay, with that said, let me bring up the next guest who honestly does not need an introduction, but it's my show, and I do unnecessary shit all the fucking time, and so I'm going to give him an introduction anyway. He is the baldest man in crypto. He is the most feared man on crypto Twitter. He runs the largest Solana validator in the world as of just a few days ago. And oh, by the way, he also happens to run the fastest growing startup in crypto, or one of them at least, Helius. Helius, if you don't know, it makes life easier for Solana devs with their RPCs, webhooks, DAS APIs, and a bunch of other things. But importantly, for the context of this call, because of the work that Mert does, both at Helius and on Twitter, he's got a very unique perspective on the ecosystem. So please drop a little Mert in the chat in all caps to welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mert. How you doing, brother?
Well, you know, two things. I was outside of Canada for the past month. Now I'm back in Canada, so not doing too great. My little cold.
Bro, Super Team Canada just launched. Please don't make people bearish. It's great. Just go to the Super Team Canada events. You'll fall back in love with Canada. I assure you.
And then second is Mert on steroids is not me. Okay. That is if I was on something, it'd be Zins. It'd be Mert on Zins, but that's not me. Just
oh, this whole time I thought that was you. Shout out to the imposters out there. Trust but verify. I guess this dude looks like me. It says Mert on steroids, whoever that might be. All right. Well, in any case, Mert, let's jump into it here. I want to start off by talking about Solana's roadmap, because there have been a bunch of kind of improvements that have happened at a network level recently, stake-weighted QoS, the scheduler fix, and so forth. So the network at a base level seems to be getting better basically every kind of week. What is upcoming on the roadmap that has got you excited? And why does it matter to everyday Solana people who are watching this right now?
Sure. So everybody's probably familiar with the congestion that took place roughly 4 or 5 months ago due to people just aping shitcoins and mining ore, which, by the way, is coming back. So prepare yourselves for more pain. Probably the thing I'm most excited about is a thing called Firedancer. I did not name this. And Firedancer is basically Firedancer, the Firedancer team rewriting the networking stack on Solana from scratch, and then putting that onto the existing Solana Labs or Onza client and kind of making this Frankenstein little client. And I think that's supposed to go live by Breakpoint, although Tolly always tells me wrong shit and then I get wrecked for it. So something like that. I'm pretty excited for that. That should help fix transaction landing, or it should help improve it quite a bit. Number two is obviously going to shill my own bags here, ZK compression. Yes. So makes things on Solana like airdrops or working with tokens roughly 3,000x to 5,000x cheaper. So as if there wasn't enough shitcoining happening, now you can expect to see that increase a lot more. And the third thing, this one is a bit more, let's say, in the works, is the core devs are trying to increase the block space. So currently the Solana blocks are actually like relatively full. And so we're basically just trying to expand it a little more. And what that means is you'll obviously get more transactions per block. And so more users can do more things on chain at a given time. But also, if those accounts aren't like congested or contested, it should also help reduce fees a little bit as well. Not that the fees are high, but they could always be lower. We're always trying to get faster, cheaper, better. So those three are probably the things I'm most excited about. And then obviously there's Firedancer itself, which should go live. I'm not going to give a time estimate there, but
put a date on
by
it, Mert.
New Year. Yeah, I'll say by New Year we should have something hopefully working. But if anybody from Firedancer is watching this was not me. There's a gun to my head.
This is Mert on steroids. He's a different guy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, those are pretty exciting. And then this one's a bit more under the hood, but Helius is going to work on a proposal to help reduce maybe the inflation schedule on Solana, so that it doesn't necessarily look like the Turkish economy. So we'll see how that plays out.
Inshallah. But I think that the common thread across all of those is Solana getting more and more able to handle more and more volume, more and more traffic, more and more kind of like applications that actually create real value. So infrastructure, I think we both probably agree, is important and interesting to the degree that it can help enable more applications. And so let's talk a little bit on that side, right? So that's the network layer. Let's talk about the application layer. I think you and I both agree that the future of Solana is going to be driven by like the actual applications on the network. And so I'm curious from your perspective, what sector on Solana is the most underappreciated? Right now, everyone's pretty excited about DePIN. We got a lot of people who are excited about whatever DeFi. What kind of areas of Solana, what kind of things on Solana do you think people are insufficiently bullish or excited about?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think in the grand scheme of things, everything on Solana is underrated. I think everything should be getting more attention. Obviously, DePIN and DeFi are great. The two things that I'm most interested in are, well, obviously, one, the original vision of crypto and Satoshi payments. I've often said we have the highest concentration of payments talent I've seen anywhere, and I used to work in digital payments. And things like microtransactions, things like soft sequencers with like code, being able to earn things directly on chain as opposed to having to do on ramps and off ramps is super important. And underrated, especially on Solana, where we have like this culture of earning on chain with DePIN and also like Super Team Earn. Quick little plug there. And then two, I think like the most interesting thing for me is SocialFi. So Solana has arguably the strongest social layer in crypto, especially for people who care about apps and usability and kind of global accessibility, as opposed to just like hold a token and then put some lasers on your eyes. So SocialFi, I think, is super important and fits nicely with the existing kind of culture of Solana. And then when you combine it with things like Blinks, where now your Twitter feed, you can actually make it kind of like a DApp. And instead of kind of having to get people to go to your application, you can just post a link on Twitter or Facebook, or some people might go on LinkedIn these days. I don't know. You can do some interesting things with kind of your social networks. And maybe you can tokenize your time, you can tokenize some other random shit. But we've seen things like Farcaster, Friendtech, Fantasy. We haven't seen many of those yet on Solana, but I think that's going to change. And when you combine that with Blinks, ZK compression, making tokenization much cheaper for everybody, and Solana mobile at the same time, which is going to, I don't know when it's going to come out, but it'll come out at some point. You combine all those things, and then you're like, okay, wait a minute, this is actually prime grounds for SocialFi. And so for the next year or two, that's the area I would look at. And if you're building something cool there, just spam me into DMs with a deck, and make sure the deck doesn't say I have a TAM of $5 trillion. Just solve a simple problem and then tell me what it is.
That I dig. There's a few cool SocialFi projects right now. I know, what is it? DSVCR. I always get the letters wrong. It's got a few 100,000 users on it. Discovery, yeah. Only one on the adult side of things I think is interesting, and there's a few others. I know we both will giggle a little bit there, but are there any other kind of things that you're really excited about that you think will kind of fundamentally level up Solana's future? Otherwise, I have a few quick fire questions for you.
I think there's some new things coming around MEV protection for retail in everyday users that should be interesting. Currently, you've probably seen the stats about MEV and whatnot. Most shitcoiners aren't too price sensitive to that because they're looking for like a next 10,000x. And then they probably don't mind like 10% slippage or something. But if DeFi is supposed to be the future and it's supposed to be on Solana, we can't let that happen. And so we'll be releasing some MEV protect endpoints at Helius. But then there's also other teams doing more MEV protection stuff. Jito's obviously working pretty hard on it as well. So pretty excited about that. And then just, doing more institutional adoption shit. So, obviously Hamilton Lane came on chain, PayPal, USD as well. And then there's some other ones in the works that we're trying to close right now that once they go live should make the manlets very happy.
Okay. All right, people. I don't know how you hear that and don't get excited. So a lot of good stuff. Solid alpha being dropped by a Canadian. Super Simon is very excited. He's maybe a self-loathing Canadian. So I don't know if this is the best time to pick it up. But okay, let's do really quick because I know we're over on time. I want to do a rapid fire list. So I'll give you a prompt and then you try to give me like a 1-sentence take as the most kind of pithy man in crypto. I think hopefully this will work out. So let's start off with this. Let's start with an easy one. Solana is centralized.
No.
That's all.
False.
One word is even better than one sentence. There we go. How about this? Solana needs L2s.
Solana itself doesn't need L2s, but the apps building on top of Solana might want custom block space or async processing, in which case it might make sense for them to look into it. But Solana, the chain itself, does not need them.
Nice. That's a nice nuanced point. I dig that. Let's go for this. Other SVMs, like Eclipse or Soon or whatever, are good for Solana.
Oh, yeah, 100%, undoubtedly. The point of a virtual machine is your customer is a developer. And if the developers have more optionality to deploy their programs as opposed to being subject to platform risk, and you have more people. Who is on the Helius account right now? I don't even know who has access.
Your own team is roasting you in the background here.
Just better optionality for developers and also more open source contributions is fundamentally how software moves. So it's not good.
Let's do one last one here. Zin is good for you.
If you don't have heart conditions, if you're under 40, which I'm not according to Vib, it is not awful for you. I'll put it that way.
All right, kids, if you're under 18 or whatever the fuck the age, whatever the hell the age is, don't take Mert's advice. But if you want to get bold and jacked like him, I don't know, maybe. Anyway, Mert, thank you so much for coming on and sharing some thoughts on where Solana is going. Hopefully, the Super Team faithful, the ecosystem call faithful, got some real value out of that. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
Yep, likewise. Stay with Helius. All right, bye.
Stake with Helius Soul. There it is. And they're hiring, I think, for a bunch of positions as well. So if you're a dev, go get in touch. All right, folks. That's going to take us into our final guest. I know we're running a little bit late right now, but I promise you it is worth it. Right before we get to them, I want to do a quick Twitter raid. This is a little bit of goodness. What I like about Solana, folks, is they have big kind of open hearts. And I saw this tweet from Bengshark that really made my tiny cold heart grow 2 sizes. He's using a liquid staking token called Health Soul to organize free healthcare checkups in Indonesia. So if you can, give him a little follow, drop a little tweet. Hey, you dropped this king on the reply. There's a little, my pseudonym has put in the link over in the YouTube chat as well. So you can just click on that to make that happen. I think this is a nice thing. People who are doing nice things should get nice things in return. Hopefully he'll wake up tomorrow with, a bunch of new followers and some new love. I think that's pretty cool. Okay. With that said, let's bring up my next and final guest. Anyone who has been on Solana for a while already knows about Orca. They were one of the first big DEXs, decentralized exchanges on Solana, facilitating token trades from the very early days. They have now done $140 billion in cumulative volume, with $240 million going to LPs. That's almost $250 million LPs have earned through Orca, and $25 million in protocol revenues going straight to the protocol itself. And perhaps most importantly, they've never been hacked in throughout all of this. Here to talk about the future of the Orca product and where they are going, please drop a little GM in the chat for the co-founder of Orca, Mr. Yutaro. Yutaro, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, but I hope you don't ask me any kind of trick question about Zins and whether or not I recommend that for our audience right here. So yeah,
I just might. I'm
careful.
feeling a little frisky. We'll see where I end up over here. All right. Well, let's start off with this. So, shout out to KZ in the chat as well from Chomp and formerly of Orca. This section, I really want to talk about kind of like usability of DeFi, because I think you and I share a deep appreciation for human-centered design. So when it comes to DeFi on Solana, what are some of the kind of key problems that you guys are trying to solve, especially for new users, when it comes to Orca?
Yeah, sure. One thing that I've been interested in right now is the onboarding problem with wallets. So seeing the adoption of embedded wallets recently has been pretty interesting. And we haven't adopted them yet, but we're looking into it right now. I think a lot of other DeFi protocols haven't necessarily adopted it, so we're a little bit behind the curve. And the onboarding process is much smoother. The actual interaction with the app is a lot smoother, and so I'm guessing that we're going to see kind of different trade-offs being made between security and UX. Embedded wallets is an example of that in comparison to something like wallets. And yeah, something that's kind of first-class support for wallets on mobile OSs. That's something that we're interested in as well. So that's one category. Another category is just making transactions land more reliably and making them cheaper. Even on Solana, we're starting to get to a point where when our users are creating positions, they're paying over $1, and after a while, that really starts adding up, especially for power users that are creating positions every single day or multiple times throughout the day. So yeah, those are some of the categories that we're looking at.
Makes a lot of sense. I'm a big fan of embedded wallets myself. Honestly, is the thing I tell for anyone who's building in the hackathon, for example, just do like log in with TipLink and kind of increase the TAM a little bit. I think Particle's got a good offering, and a few others do as well. So these are some of the things that I think everybody is kind of struggling with. But I know that you guys have been very specifically trying to improve the UX over on Orca, and you just released Orca V2. So what I'd love to do right now is just pull it up, take a little look at it, and you tell me what's new and kind of some of the thinking behind what you have done here.
Sure. So a lot of this is actually behind the scenes. So when we first started building Orca, we had not built the system for a world where you mentioned that Pump.Fund, they create on average of 20,000 new pools a day. That's a staggering number, and our infrastructure wasn't built to handle that. So we rebuilt everything from scratch. We decided to go for all the developers out there. We decided to build everything in Rust as opposed to JavaScript to make everything. And kind of the general thinking here is we wanted to build an infrastructure that can handle a world where we're creating more than 20,000 pools a day, right? Because I think we're actually going to go much higher than that. I see a world where we're creating like 100,000 new pools a day. So we want to build an infrastructure that can scale to there too. Other than that, there's a number of improvements that we made. So just making everything faster, making everything more reliable, kind of giving users the option to control the slippage, control kind of the different settings when they want to create a position. And then we've also updated the navigation so that it's a lot more intuitive, allowing users to go from the different parts of the website a little more smoothly. So yeah.
That's pretty sick. I think one of my favorite pieces here, the yield by TVL on the 24-hour mark, I think is really cool. Just to make that super obvious, the estimated 24-hour yield, just kind of making that to the forefront. And then the power users obviously can do some more of the customizations as they're starting to LP. You have all this kind of custom stuff down here. It looks looks pretty sexy. Drop a little W in the chat if you are into the new Orca design. I also love the portfolio tool, which I'm not going to show right now because I don't want to dox my own net worth. But being able to just see all your stuff in one simple place, also very cool. I know as a part of this, we were talking a little bit before the call, a lot of the actual creation of pools has gotten a bit easier as well, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. So our product is a concentrated liquidity AMM. I guess that's a bit of a mouthful, but essentially it's a more capital efficient way to provide liquidity, but it also means that there's more options and it's a little more complicated. And that's feedback that we've gotten from a lot of users. And so, we went back to the drawing board and said, okay, how can we make this as simple as possible? And so, we ended up with a product where, for creating a pool, we give users two different options, a much simpler option, and then a much simpler option that allows users to kind of skip a lot of the fine-tune kind of like parameterization that power users might want. And then a second option that gives users all those options, but then, we give them a better experience by doing a lot of the heavy lifting up front so that they don't really have to do it. And so Splash Pools is the simpler option. And it's really designed, for example, meme coins, right? Even if our users don't necessarily have a good understanding of how AMMs work or concepts like divergence loss, the idea is that they can create a meme pool, a pool with a meme coin in like a minute with minimal fees. And so there's a lot that's going on underneath the hood, but we'd love to have our users try it.
Yeah, so this was the old
go ahead.
Kind of pool creation, right?
Yeah. So really, this kind of just the old one. It really just showed kind of the guts, the internals of the AMM as it is, and this is just really the initial version. And then if we show kind of what it looks like later, so these are the two options that users have. The first one, Splash Pools, is a simpler one, and concentrated pools. The second one is for power users. And so right here, this is the simpler interface. One of the pieces of feedback that we got is the essentially having when users have to create a pool in the previous flow, they had to think about different concepts in their head while trying to create a pool. Things like the ratio between the two tokens. They had to kind of balance that, and sometimes they would have to swap tokens in order to make sure that the ratio matched what was required. But we simplified all that, and so there's really only three parameters that they have to keep in mind. It's how much of the first token they want to deposit the second token, and then the price, the initial price that they want to set.
Nice and easy. And then it can take 15 minutes for it to show up, but there it is right there.
Yeah, so right now it's going to take 15 minutes to show up. We're working hard in the backend infrastructure right now so that it shows up immediately, and that should be coming out in the next few weeks.
Very cool. I know we're running a little bit late on time, but I know the sparse swap is also something that you guys are pretty excited about, right?
Yeah, so recently we've started making smart contract upgrades more frequently. And so this is one of those, and this is actually one of the most this is an often requested upgrade to our smart contract. And this one also kind of gets a little bit in the weeds, but in a nutshell, we've seen that a lot of these swaps failed, whether they be kind of like trades that happen on our own interface or trades that happen through aggregators. And so for the developers out there, essentially, these tick array accounts, which are the accounts that do the track the prices for these different pools, they would fail in cases when these accounts were not initialized. And so we made some upgrades so that isn't really the case. And then we've also simplified kind of how the logic works actually for developers to make it easier for them to integrate with us as well. And so these are kind of just one of a few upgrades that we have in mind for making it simpler, making the whole experience more reliable for users and for developers. And yeah,
I think that's pretty cool indeed. So I know there's a lot of developers in the audience right now, all around the world. Shout out to folks who are maybe thinking about competing in the global hackathon. And I know that, of course, Orca is built for LPs, and of course it is built for traders, but it is also built for developers to be able to integrate it pretty easily into whatever DeFi things that they are doing, right? So I definitely encourage people to check that out. But maybe you're not a developer, you're just somebody who's interested in DeFi. I think you guys are launching a little bounty as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right. So the recent kind of new stuff that we've put out, Orca V2, Splash Pools, Sparse Swap. If you're interested in writing threads about it, we'd love to work with you. And we have this $1,500 bounty. So hit us up.
That's good stuff, folks. You get to learn while you earn, while you have some content, get some more followers, perhaps. But more than anything else, you kind of actually better understand the world and some of the cutting edge tech that is powering DeFi right now. Awesome. Yutaro, any last things to say to the folks at home here?
Yeah, try Orca if you haven't. We're building the best kind of experience for LPs. And so whether it be Memecoins or Sol USDC or stable coins, we're building kind of, the best experience for that. And so check us out.
Excellent. Another time we'll have to get deep into your opinions on. Can I get your rapid fire take on meme coins actually?
Sure. Yeah. Is there a specific question or
a specific question? Meme coins
in
good
general?
or bad? What is your general feeling?
Well, I mean, it sounds, you mentioned that you haven't been making money on meme coins. So it sounds like my guess is that a lot of people are kind of in a similar situation where they aren't making money. And if we look at the on-chain analytics, it seems like kind of a small minority of people are almost like systematically extracting money from it. And so if that continues, I think it's hard to imagine that like meme coins themselves are sustainable.
Because it kills its users in a way, like over time.
Yeah. And so I think it's very likely to continue getting even bigger, right? I think the markets can stay irrational for longer than, we expect. And so who knows, like over the next year, I think it'll continue being bigger. But as long as kind of the average person is not making money and there's a small minority that's extracting money in a way that like is potentially quite unfair or maybe even illegal, I think it's hard to imagine that it'll continue being this sustainable trend. I mean, if we look at kind of, like US equities or something, right? It's gotten to the point where it's like pretty reasonable advice for someone to just say, hey, like you can just put some % of your money in equities in an index fund and then that's okay. Obviously, no one would ever say that with meme coins. And so like, I would love for there to be kind of like, I would love meme coins to be kind of an asset class that is like almost comparable in that sense, right? And we'll definitely have those types of assets on Solana one day. But until then, I think we just need to keep on building products and helping kind of good assets come on chain and fixing market structure issues one by one.
I take it that you promised a bit of a spicy take. I appreciate that. I think it's a subtle and nuanced thing. Not a lot of people are willing to say out loud, but obviously your perspective on it is unique and well informed from the Orca side of things. Folks, if you haven't already, go check out Orca, jump into their Discord, go give them feedback on what you think and how you can make it better, and go check out this bounty on Super Team Earn as well. Yutaro, thanks so much for coming out. Always a pleasure to see you, my guy.
Thank you.
See you soon, man. All right, folks, we are indeed almost done. But before we go, I got one last thing to tell you about, which is work to earn. If you know anything about Super Team, it is all about earning your crypto, not just buying it. I am a very bad trader. I have mostly made my money by actually earning it by working with protocols, and this is your chance to do the same. We have, in addition to that Orca bounty, there is a $1,000 bounty, $1,000 to write a thread on Star Atlas's crew packs. Star Atlas is a AAA game on Solana. They've been building it for a while. Shout out to the homie Mike Wagner and the rest of the team over there. They're doing great work. Your mission is to write a thread on the crew members, their species, their aptitudes, their utilities, and get deep into the lore. This is a great way to learn more about what is going to be a blockbuster game, which is already a blockbuster game, while also starting to earn. Maybe that's not your style. Well, I got good news for you. The homies over at Camino Finance, the largest borrow-lend protocol on Solana, are looking for a 10x growth lead. They're looking for Lisan. I couldn't even remember how to say it. Lisan Al Gaib. I should have practiced that before I did this here. But Camino, one of the coolest teams. Shout out to all my friends over there. If you want to go join them, they need a growth lead. Please do apply jobs.solana.com. And then finally, as a general reminder, you can always find Solana native talent on Super Team Earn. If you have your own project and you need a designer, a developer, a marketer, an intern, whatever it might be, go use Super Team Earn. It is the single best way. We have 30,000 verified profiles on there. We have, or 30,000 verified users, excuse me. We're getting 150,000 sessions a month right now. It is the single best place to earn your crypto and to reach a Solana native audience. All right, folks, that is going to be it for us. This has been a, hopefully you would agree, I'm a little bit biased, a banger of an ecosystem call. What do? We talked about all of the wins, from the shipments to new people coming to Solana, the institutions to the community wins. We talked about the state of Solana, all the net inflows that have been coming in, along with the increase in usage and TVL. We talked about all the IRL events that are happening in Argentina, in Dubai, in Vietnam, in Miami, in Pennsylvania, and many, many more. And then we got to hear about DRiP Mobile. I mean, it's like a beautiful goddamn product. I got to say, I'm very excited to use it. And all the DRiP's success. We got to hear from Mert about the future of the network and some key areas to be excited and bullish about of where we're going. And we got to hear from Yutaro on how to make DeFi more usable and how Orca V2 is trying to take a step in that direction. If you would like this beautiful POAP, and it is indeed a beautiful one, all you got to do is to use your camera, scan this QR code, and you will receive it in the next hour or so. There's also a link in the chat in case you are not able to scan it right now. All right, folks, if you had a good time with us here, shout out again to all the IRL people. You can go to app.getriver.io/superteam to find a watch party near you. I think we have them on like 5 continents, if I'm not mistaken, at this point. It's pretty crazy. Shout out to Chris.Sol for leading that. And of course, shout out to Super Team Canada as well. Super Simon, my guy, and everybody else in the Canadian ecosystem. Got big expectations, hoping to see all the good stuff that you guys do. Join us on Telegram. If you haven't already, if you want that free Breakpoint ticket, you can jump into the Solana OG's Telegram chat under Breakpoint giveaway. We also have like dev channels and people can chill themselves and just meeting, having fun, answering questions. It's a great place to be. But that's all I got for you, folks. Thanks for coming out. You don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here. Thank you to Srijani and Chris for helping out on this. My name is Cash Donda, the Sherpa of Super Team. Believe it or not, this is actually not my main job. My main job is leading Super Team, but it is a pleasure to get to spend some time with you every month. If you got anything else for me, shoot me a DM, and I will talk to you all very soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, love you. Good.